AetherCon. How's everyone doing today? Oh, okay. I think it is time to get started. So just for context, I do see you guys in Say Chat. Hello, everyone. I won't have Twitch chat, so if you are watching this on Twitch, I can't see what you're saying at the moment. But if time permits, we'll have Q&A session, and I'll be able to see what you guys have to say. But with that, it is 12 o'clock on the dot, so we'll go ahead and get started. And I want to welcome all of you to AetherCon 2024, and thank you for coming. Oh, someone in chat if there will be MSQ spoilers. I will go over that. So I'm gonna go over kind of some housekeeping rules before we start off today. But you can rest assured I will try my best not to include any major spoilers, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah, quick thanks to AetherCon for giving me the opportunity today to tell you all about my experience with this wonderful MMORPG and helping out fellow players so that they can enjoy their time in Eorzea with this informative panel. I have you guys for the next 30 minutes, so let's make the most of it. Again, depending on time, I'll have a Q&A to answer any questions from anyone in the audience. So with that, let's get started. Yeah, so the few housekeeping rules I do want to point out throughout this panel. I'll have what's called no context spoilers, so there'll be minor things like locales and characters, but nothing related to the story. I do want to be mindful of everyone watching, and I can't assume that everyone is up to date with content, so I will do my best to avoid any major spoilers. This panel will share both helpful information from 14 that I felt is related to my talk, and it will also share some advice that have been formed as a result from my time spent in this game. Oh, I forgot to hide that. There we go. Now you can see me in all of my Lalafell glory. There we go. Again, feel free to take as much or as little of my advice as you would like. I'm pretty sure there is going to be someone out there on the internet who will tell me that I'm wrong, and to which I say, okay, cool story, bro. I don't have an opinion on the internet is a crazy concept. I do want to explain a little bit of the inspiration for the title for this panel. Truth be told, I did get a few reactions of what and huh when I shared it with others as I was putting it together. So one of my favorite things to do in 14 is to find various Easter eggs that can be found throughout in-game texts with influences from pop culture, movies, TV shows, and more. For this particular title, it comes from one of the achievements you can gain from the Gold Saucer, which is titled How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Saucer, which could be attained by earning 7 individual achievements gained by winning minigames throughout the venue. So you need to either get lucky or good, or both. The achievement itself is a reference to the American satirical black comedy film Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, directed by Stanley Kubrick, with one of the memorable and iconic scenes from the film is that of the character Major Kong riding a nuclear bomb like a bull at a rodeo as it falls to its final destination. Just a neat little tidbit to set us right for today's presentation. So I decided to create this panel mostly as a favor to my past self and to show how much can happen and to change over time when you're involved in a game as huge as Final Fantasy XIV. The girl who started on this crazy journey would have never imagined herself being here at this moment, and everything else that she has gone through, including going to Las Vegas last year for her very first Fans Fest, which, despite the Las Vegas heat, was a lot of fun and memorable. As such, this is my way of giving back to the community and to ensure new players that it's okay to take their time in the task of completing the story. That was 10 years in the making. Side note, the screenshot here was taken right after completing the ARR quest. It was a very good year, and obtaining the Gobu Sprouting as a quest reward. Kind of hilarious that the baby Gobu is just as tall as me. So, first and foremost, an introduction. Who the heck am I? My name is Venus, aka Crazy Sunshine, and I am a designer and illustrator by day and gamer by night. I also stream on Twitch with a variety of games, but lately a good chunk of it has been Final Fantasy XIV content. And my Warrior of Light is Soleil Altaloon, based in Genova on the Aether Data Center, and I have been active in the game for a little over 4 years now. I started off as a thaumaturge and was a black mage main throughout the end of Shadowbringers. I still play the job on occasion, but have since done more with ranged DPS jobs, primarily a machinist and dancer, and was a Pictomancer main for Dawn Trail, because as an artist myself, it made sense. I started playing in April of 2020 at the start of COVID-19 lockdown, after much persuasion from friends who were already a year into it. My job at the time, which was in customer service, had to stay home to help with data entry and management, so that meant more time staying at home and more time to be spent playing, which worked out because I couldn't meet up with my friends in person, so doing it online was the next best thing. This was my first ever MMORPG, and I had not made it past the character creation screen in World of Warcraft, so you can imagine my mind being blown when I first stepped into Ul'dah. And I will later learn that the background music that plays in Ul'dah is called A New Hope, and I felt it was the most fitting title for the start of my brand new adventure. I don't have many screenshots saved from my first few weeks playing, but I have this screenshot of a highlight from my first ever 14 stream. For context, I tried to talk to the itinerant Moogle at Ul'dah, but because of Lalafell things, I run under him, which when I tried to talk to him, it caused the camera to spin around and zoom in to his backside. Unfortunately for me, my friends were able to help me get my bearings straight in these first few weeks, and would also help me out with running dungeons and help alleviate the wait time for me playing as a DPS, which to this day I am forever grateful. So thank you to the No Pants Club and BC Overrun Genova. You guys are pretty great. It only took about a month before I decided to dive in as a paid subscriber. I knew it was going to happen sooner rather than later, and after learning that those on the free trial are unable to purchase and use items from Mog Station, I figured it would be the right time to do so. And I really wanted some of the emotes that were on sale at the time, so that's how that happened. Fast forward to July 2020, and I have been officially furloughed by my place of work. And now with money coming in from temporary unemployment and even more time to spend at home, the 14 streams started to get a little more frequent. I added, it was called FF14 Story Time, and I had it set for Saturday and Sunday evenings, with streams lasting anywhere from 4 to 6 hours at a time to work on MSQ progress. And one of my favorite things was having viewers, most of them long-time 14 players, come into my stream and see a new player go through their journey that they had gone through themselves. And I enjoyed being able to provide that source of joy for them. Of course, my progress in this game wouldn't be without its pain points. I can't pinpoint the exact moment, but it kind of turned into a running joke of Crazy isn't doing her MSQ, especially during streams. I suppose in the eyes of some, I wasn't progressing the story fast enough. It was kind of like, I thought of it as golden retriever behavior, seeing a squirrel and getting distracted by another shiny trinket. But I started to get in the state of mind that doing side quests isn't necessarily a bad thing, nor taking a detour to do something else in game. And there were times when I needed some sort of palate cleanser, especially after going through heavy moments in the game. There would be moments where I would share something cool or that I found or a neat interaction I had. And if it wasn't story related, it would be met with, "Hey, crazy, you should do your MSQ." For me personally, I thought I was going at a good pace and I didn't want to burn myself out in the game already in these still early stages. And burnout is something I do want to touch on a little bit, so we'll see that for later on in the panel. The proverbial straw that broke the camel's back was when another friend picked up 14, and there were talks on who would finish MSQ first, the newcomer or myself. And I get it. I do realize that these were jokes made at my expense, but as Tatara says here, there is such a thing as running a joke into the ground. And after that, I started to ignore those comments and focus on progress. It took a while, but I was able to stop worrying about my pacing, if I was doing too much or too little, and other little things that lingered in my head. Thanks to the free company and the FC members and helpful viewers for my streams, it took about a year for me to catch up with content, which at the time was Shatterbrainers and patches at around summer of 2021. So one of the recurring tips I did get the start of my journey was just focus on your MSQ and blue quests. Don't worry about anything else. And as we know, there are 3 different quest markers found throughout 14. The main scenario quests in the shape of the iconic meteor, the point out quests that allow you to make progress in the story. And when you complete these, you can unlock new areas for you to visit, as well as unlocking dungeons and trials that are tied to MSQ. I couldn't remember the exact name for these things and I had to look it up. So these are called content unlock quests. So these are supplemental quests. Think of them as quests for your job that unlock new abilities to add to your skill set, aether currents in regions so that you can fly in each region. Sorry, excuse me. And dungeon unlocks that are not tied to story but may be required elsewhere, such as increasing rank in your grand company, unlocking alliance and normal raids that lead to additional content, and so on. And then we have these yellow quests that denote side quests that appear in any particular area as you make story progress. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. These typically don't appear all at once. Instead, they come in as waves as you complete MSQ. And while they don't affect story directly, they can give more lore and information for whatever region the player is in. Or if it's a start of a quest chain that will expand as the player unlocks new regions in any particular expansion. Some quests also reward gear coffers that can be used for whatever job the player opens them up as, so they can be used to gear up an alternative job or to sell the gear on the market board for some extra money. There are a few schools of thought that I have seen in regards to how players view these yellow markers. The first one is that they are completed as you concurrently do the main story. If you are someone with time to spare, you can do these in the current area that you're in before moving on to the story elsewhere. The second is you do them a little later, like once you've done a zone. Usually, so once you have unlocked flying, for example, in any zone, this is my personal method. So that, especially if I'm going to be going back and forth between long lengths of distance, we'll just save up a little bit of time. So for me, I waited until I got flying unlocked, and then I did the side quest. The other one is I'll do them eventually. That's Future Me's problem. I find myself doing this in the very last zone of each expansion. It's at the point where I know I'm really close to the end and I just want to finish. And as a result, I'll hold off doing these side quests until I'm done with MSQ. And oftentimes I forget I'm doing them all together and will only realize if I'm in an area for a hunt train or shared fates or something like that. In fact, I was in the last zone, in one of the zones in Evans Ward for Triple Triad, and I noticed that there were still about 7 to 8 side quests still outstanding. And the last school of thought is probably the most that I've seen among players is that the side quests are avoided like the plague. And I get it. Some players don't want to get bogged down with an already long laundry list of things that they want to complete. To my knowledge, there's nothing in-game to remove the side quest markers without actually doing them, and it's a hassle when there's a cluster of them surrounding an aetheryte. And I'm sure you're thinking out there, side quests, what's it to me? Why should I do them? So here are some benefits I'll go over and list them, mentioned earlier just to kind of summarize things. There are some neat little things you can discover that are tied to the lore in 14. Not long ago, there was a post on social media asking 14 players about their favorite piece of in-game trivia, especially if it was obscure or not known to many. One post that caught my eye is a side quest in Endwalker, where you can meet the father of one of the Scions hanging out in Old Charlian. Won't say much past that. If you know, you know. A little gil in your pocket wouldn't hurt, especially if you're short on aetheryte tickets and need some cash to teleport halfway across the world. Also a good idea for those of you on the free trial when you are limited to earning money, since you do not have access to retainers nor usage of the market board. For some side quests, you can get some pretty awesome rewards. A recent example of this is in Dawn Trail, where there is a side quest at the starting city featuring an NPC, and which opens up a quest chain that lasts throughout most of the Dawn Trail MSQ. And completing it will reward you with a minion that could be quite an earful. Again, if you know, you know, and I will not be elaborating further. Oh. There we go. It looks good just to clear up your map, even if it's just a little bit of spring cleaning. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I am unaware of anything in-game that can clear up these quests, so you don't have to do them. So I can't help in that regard, but if there is, that's cool. Very cool for you to know. And even after defeating every villain in each expansion, there is still something that feels good about helping out others. It could just be that it's ingrained into our Wolves DNA at this point, but helping out can be good. Or you are a player who wants to complete every single quest within earshot, and I think we know at least one person in this game who is like that. I am one of those for sure. And while we're here, let's talk about the other things you can do, what one can do with their time in 14 if they don't want to deal with story at the moment. Now this is definitely this thing is definitely more of a long-term project, but achievement hunting is something that players can do. It's definitely not impossible. We have heard stories of players completing all, what is it, like 2,000 or so achievements in game. It took a few years, but it's possible. I know for me personally, I do have a few pinned in my achievements log just to keep in mind and kind of work towards, kind of casually in a sense. And Savage and Ultimate raids, admittedly enough, this is one thing that I have not done yet myself because, to be honest, endgame raiding kind of scares me. I do have fellow FC mates and friends who have done raids, and I always enjoy hearing of their adventures and hijinks and getting clears. I honestly don't know if I could find myself doing that kind of content, but as they say, never say never. And as we all know, creating glams is the true endgame of 14. On Party Finder lately, I'll see someone seeking players to clear a 4-man dungeon just for a particular piece to fit with their glam plate. I remember going through Urban Monastery a few times to get the ranged DPS handpiece because it's part of the Balthiera cosplay. And that took a few attempts to actually see the dang thing drop. I remember during ARR, I started to unlock all the other jobs and classes whenever I came across them. Which is one of the best things about 14 is that you can start up any job as long as you meet the requirements. For most of them in ARR, it's just level 1. It's like, okay, we can just go ahead and get that started. So if you're ever curious about a job but haven't unlocked it yet, give it a shot. Having said that, I still don't know of one person who enjoys playing all, I think it's like 21 jobs at this point, and most of us will have a few that will be, we've decided to be mains in. I know people who haven't yet to unlock Thaumaturge in Ul'dah because they are not a big fan of how Black Mage plays, where you have to stay in place and cast spells. They prefer more mobile jobs. And according to some, for me, I am allergic to melee DPS jobs. I don't like to get super close to enemies. I rather, you know, keep my distance. But you know what? As long as you give it a try, nothing's stopping you. This is kind of this was something that I had lingering ever since I started ARR. I did one game of mahjong once, and I have not looked back since. Only because I learned that when you play with the computer, the single player, the computer cheats in mahjong. And I've heard this from friends who are more knowledgeable in the game, so they can verify that. I know of players who spend a lot of their time playing mahjong, and I don't know. Last I heard, there was an active community for mahjong. I'm not sure about NA, but I know in Japan it's a big thing there. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Maybe I know there are some. I think there are some achievements tied to mahjong. So, maybe perhaps later down the road. And speaking of roleplay, which is funny, then we're on Crystal, which is the main role-playing hub here at least here in North America. I have done roleplay once so far, and it was a good time. It was at a pirate bar / boxing ring venue over in Coral, and as someone who does not have much knowledge in role-playing, I still had a good time. It was an FC house, and it was through a friend, and she helped me, she guided me through what I know and how to do like certain like type commands in the chat window, and it was a good time. Like, I really enjoyed it. 14 does have a very strong role-playing scene, but I do realize it's not for everyone. But again, if you're ever curious, I would recommend starting at a slow pace, so that you're not overwhelmed right from the get-go. There's definitely more to add to this list, but these are the ones that came to mind initially. But yeah, if there's anything I missed, let me know. Is there something that you enjoy doing that brings you joy to this game? Feel free to share. As I mentioned earlier, one of the main reasons why I went at a slower pace than was probably expected was because I wanted to avoid one thing, which is burnout. For those of us who are seasoned gamers, I'm positive that all of you have experienced burnout in some shape or form. You play a game extensively, and then all of a sudden, you start to think, ugh, I don't want to play this right now. I'm gonna take a break. And 14 is of no exception. There's so much to talk about burnout that it can be best that it can be its own panel. But at the very least, I do want to caution those who go through MSQ at a very, very fast pace. For example, when Dawn Trail came out, I heard of players who completed all of base Dawn Trail within a span of the early access weekend. And I know one friend who streamed all of Dawn Trail for 48 straight hours, which they did enjoy their time, but they definitely would not recommend it. But you know what? More power to you. More power to people who are able to do that. I know I personally wouldn't be able to do that. Simply put, it's best to take things at your own pace. When you look at the estimated time to complete each expansion, you're looking at anywhere between about 40 to 50 hours. And then which in total, your total play time can come up to be anywhere in the neighborhood of 300 plus hours. Which doesn't seem to be a lot at first. Again, time does fly while you're having fun. Oh, there we go. All right. Now, I know this is a saying that is mentioned more often than not, but I think the best way to describe how to tackle Final Fantasy XIV is that it's a marathon and not a sprint. That's how I've described completing this Goliath of a story. Again, 10 years in the making. Another way to put things into perspective is with this phrase, your moms may vary. Needless to say, no two players' experiences are going to be exactly the same. For example, someone who is starting out right now is going to have a different experience compared to someone like me who started at the height of COVID-19 lockdown. And then their journeys are going to look different from someone who has been with the game since 1.0. And one of the things I have learned during my time here is to show empathy and be supportive and be understanding to other players. Some players are able to finish expansions in a week's time, and some take a little bit longer because life gets in the way. At the end of the day, however you play and however you make progress, what you do and don't do, know that this is your own journey. My hope is that all of you are happy with your Warrior of Light and the choices that you have made so far to bring you to this point. Final Fantasy XIV has so much to offer alongside its story. While yes, completing MSQ does unlock more stuff for you to do, there really is no need to rush through it at lightning speed. The last 4 years for me have been a wild ride, and with the start of the new story, starting with Dawn Trail, I, for one, am very excited to see what comes next. And that's it. We'll go ahead and wrap up this panel. Fun fact, this is actually my first time running a panel ever, and I want to thank AetherCon for giving me the chance to do so. Listed here are where you can find me on the internet, and in Final Fantasy XIV, I'm on the I stream when I can schedule, and I love meeting new players in game and chat about all things 14. So until next time, thank you, and I hope you all have a good time at AetherCon. Thank you so very much. And all right, go ahead and gosh, there we go. Yay! Thank you all so much. Oh my gosh. Holy crap, you guys are amazing. So I do want to give a quick shout out to, I see you guys on my screen. Quick shout out to Super Sergio and Emilia Valer. They traveled here from Genova to show their support, and they've been with me. Oh god, sorry. Whoa. They've been with me for the last 4 years, and I cannot thank them enough, and the rest of my FC. So, oh my god, why am I about to cry? Oh my gosh, thank you all so very much. Oh, I forgot my window there is a little bit tiny. There we go. So yeah, let me go ahead. I don't know, I'll probably go ahead. I have the next 2 minutes for you guys, so I can take maybe a question or two down. But let me see. I don't know how what's the best way to do this? I wanted, let's see. Gosh. Let me see if I can do this really quick. But yeah, I also just realized I did hide my HUD, so which meant that I couldn't see Sage chat. So I was like, I know you guys are saying stuff. I'm so sorry, but I can't read it right now. Oh gosh. Oh my god, you guys are amazing. Oh my god. Alright, I need to see, hang on. I apparently can't type right now. Oh gosh, let me see here. Let's see, I think, oh gosh, I don't know if I have time to do Q&A. Like, I think I do have to step out and get ready for the next panel, and have the next panelist come through. But, oh my gosh, God, honestly, like, I'm so sorry. I can hold it off. Yeah, I can hold it offline. Yeah, I'll be heading out outside of the house here. I'll be around AetherCon throughout most of the weekend. And yeah, oh god, you guys are amazing. Sorry. Oh, this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to have face cam up because I knew I'll be crying at the end of this. But yeah, that is my time here with MSQ as a swear word, how I learned to stop worrying and learn how to love Final Fantasy XIV. Thank you all so much for just being here. You guys were great. And yeah, next panel will be, I believe, in about 15 minutes. So it's you can say Eorzea, I think, which I read the description and it looks really cool. So hope you guys stick around for that. See y'all later.